Hey, New Testament readers, welcome to week 21. Subtract 21 from 52, you get 31. That's how many weeks we've got left, so not far from the middle. Here we go, we're making progress. Even though this is only our fourth book, these are the big books that are at the beginning of the New Testament. So, we're getting there, 40-ish percent. Or so. Not bad at all. I hope, again, you're finding that reading the New Testament is becoming a good habit in your life. So we're still in the Gospel of John. We're going to continue in chapter 8 where Jesus has said, I am the light of the world. And we'll see this amazing argument between Jesus, who speaks with clarity but also in riddles. He says things about the Father and his being with the Father and coming from the Father, which aren't exactly as clear as we might think they might be. Yet if we listen carefully, we understand what he's saying. That he's saying what the beginning of the book said, that he is with God from the beginning. But his opponents, the temple leadership, they think that this is complete nonsense. It's a very interesting exchange that happens around verse 41. Jesus is going to refer to his opponents and say, the works your fathers did, or your father did. And he's eventually going to say, you are of your father, the devil. He's being pretty harsh with these guys. Why are they of the devil? Because they're rejecting him, because they're rejecting the one whom God has sent. Well, they're going to take what Jesus has said about Father and latch onto something that they've heard about him. They say, we were not born of sexual immorality. And there's a special emphasis on the we in the original language. It's as if they're saying, we've heard about you, buddy. We know that you were born not that many months after the wedding. This is very inappropriate, so don't go talking about our father. You know what I mean? So this is an allusion, of course, in the Gospel of John to the virgin birth. Now, those guys don't believe in the virgin birth. They've got what seems a more natural explanation. But we see with clarity that John believes in the virgin birth. He knows about it. He expects the readers to know about it, even though he's never narrated that. We read about the virgin birth in Matthew and Luke. We don't read about it in John, yet John very much seems to know that story and to affirm it. Well, Jesus is going to end this discourse by saying, before Abraham was, I am, which is as weird in the original language as it is in English. And shouldn't you say, before Abraham was, I was? No, I am. Why is he doing that? To refer to the way God identifies himself to Moses in the book of Exodus. And with that, of course, his opponents know what he means by that. They're picking up stones and are ready to stone him. But Jesus just walks out. Why? Well, remember the concept of Jesus' time or his hour in the Gospel of John hasn't come yet. Jesus is going to die, but he's going to die when he surrenders to his death, when everything is ready for his death to take place. Well, in the next chapter, Jesus is going to heal a blind man. And this is remarkable because in chapter 8, he says, I am the light of the world. And in chapter 9, he does a sign, as John puts it, to demonstrate that. Now, this blind man is remarkable because Jesus, makes mud with his spittle, puts it in his eyes, and tells the man to go wash in the pool of Siloam. So the man is away from Jesus when he washes his eyes and his sight is restored. That means he doesn't see Jesus. But people start asking questions, and the temple leadership get upset because there's a big hullabaloo and they're very anti-Jesus, and they hear the man saying, Jesus healed me. And they demand to say, well, are you saying he's a prophet? Because we think he's a blasphemer. Well, he can't be a blasphemer and be doing works like this, the man says. And the more he's opposed, the more he is talked into faith. Well, finally, the temple leadership throw the man out. And that's not just grab him by the neck and kick him out. That means that they are cutting him off from the Jewish community. He's to be treated like a Gentile from now on. He's lost his place. And this is something that probably went on for the readers of the Gospel of John in their lives. If they were Jewish Christians, they may be cut off from family and community because of their faith in Jesus in the decades after Jesus' resurrection. But Jesus will come to the man and say, do you believe in the Son of Man? Now, there's a phrase that he uses often in the Gospels that he draws from Daniel chapter 7. The Son of Man in Daniel 7 is the one who comes with God's authority to bring God's kingdom into the world and defeat the earthly kingdoms, the mighty empires of the world. So do you believe in the Son of Man? The blind man says, you just tell me who he is and I'll believe it. And Jesus says, I'm the one. And the man falls down and worships him. And so this blind man is becoming kind of an image of what the end of the Gospel of John will talk about when Jesus says to Thomas, you have seen and believed. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet believe. Because this man is going to come to faith even before he literally sees Jesus. Well, chapter 10 follows chapter 9, and we'll read that as well. In chapter 10, Jesus will call himself the Good Shepherd and say he lays down his life for the sheep. And he'll say all the others, they're not the true shepherd. Who are the others? The people like the temple leadership who have made this blind man so miserable. Then we'll come to chapter 11, which will set us up for the next to last sign of the Gospel of John, the raising of Lazarus. But more to say about that as we get more into chapter 11 in next week's readings. Happy reading this week, y'all.